Hey guys, Josh here and welcome back to our Mass Effect Andromeda information series. Today we are talking about squad mates and relationships in the game. So your squad mates and relationships are just key to the whole Mass Effect trilogy. You just make so many good friendships and relationships, a bit more sexual relationships, with just such good characters who have just such good backgrounds, and you can ask so much about them and you get to know them so well that by the end of the trilogy you feel like you've made a real nice friendship with them. It's so fucking good, and Bioware are good at that in all their games, and they really are. So obviously taking that forward, that is going to be quite a nice key part of Andromeda. So these are the things that they've said. There's more relationships in the game than any other Bioware game. So there's going to be more friends and actually romances you can do than any game before that Bioware's ever done, which is really cool. As I say, always nice to have more people you can get to know. In terms of dialogue, they said that the squad mate with the least amount of lines in Andromeda has more lines than the squad mate with the most amount in Mass Effect 3. So that kind of gives you perspective of how much, probably how many lines of dialogue they've recorded for this game must be insane, if you think about it. And, scripting it out and planning it out in terms of, reactions and dialogue trees and all that kind of thing must have taken a long time. And I think that was a complaint people had about Mass Effect 3, was it took away some of your dialogue options a little bit. So hopefully, that's something that they've really improved on in this one, giving you back that freedom of asking a lot more, which Mass Effect 3 kind of took away a little bit. So, as I said earlier in my story and setting part, you are the son of the Pathfinder of your arc. I think it was Alec Ryder. Yep. And you have a brother or a sister, depending on what gender you choose with, basically. But that sibling will basically be one of your sort of crewmates, but not squad mates. Basically, they can't join in combat because of a complication in the awakening process. That's what they've said. So, not entirely sure what that is. Whether they're just disabled or something, which could be interesting. Never had a disabled character in a game like that before. So they're on the ship and you can build a relationship with them, get to know them, whether they're your brother or sister, you do know them, but you know what I mean. So that can be an interesting character who, you can get to know really well, but can't necessarily take in combat. And they said that discovering more about the Ryder family is a plot thread they want to have in the game, and it's entirely optional, but there's a sort of real deep background to the family itself, which is really cool, because Shepard was just this fabled hero. Even in Mass Effect 1, Shepard had already done great stuff, but you didn't really learn anything about that stuff they'd done. You just heard mentions of it, and I think if you chose the spacer background, I think you could see you spoke to Shepard's mother briefly, but other than that, there wasn't really any sense of a history of the character themselves and what they'd already done. So that's something you can probably hopefully find a bit more about in this one, which is quite cool. And they said Bioware feels like this is going to be different from the traditional hero's journey. So not really sure what they mean by that entirely. I'm guessing they mean kind of comparatively to Shepard. Shepard, like I said, was this tried and tested great commander in Mass Effect 1 who was already well known and already done all these battles and stuff, whereas the character in Andromeda hasn't done anything like that, and so has really got to try and prove themselves. So that could be interesting, and them then forming some sort of leadership over other people. Some of these other characters we might meet might be more experienced than Shepard. In the original trilogy, Shepard was always the person who was the most qualified for the role, the most experienced, and so naturally Shepard was a leader of all the people that they led. The squad mates in the original trilogy just believed in Shepard because they just what Shepard had done way before even at start of 1. They still had that leadership kind of, whereas in this you don't have that. So it's gonna be interesting to see is how do you kind of take that leadership role and command in battle when you haven't done that ever. So that could be a nice interesting plot point into building that kind of trust with characters, Would be really cool. Loyalty missions are back. So yeah, like loyalty missions were in 2. They're basically a way of basically getting like someone on your side. In Mass Effect 2 they were key because if you didn't have them on your side, then they could die in the ending of the game, depending on what roles you made them do in that final assault on the collector base. That's something they're not doing in this one, so it's entirely optional if you do loyalty missions. In fact, it said you can do them after you do the main story, which is cool. But what is cool is that like that means that basically you can basically just become best friends with a character, and it has no effect on the story. Well, it will have an effect on the story, but it's not kind of, oh, you must do this just for the sake of doing it. You do it because you like the character, which is really cool. If you hate the character, then don't do their fucking loyalty mission. Call them a dick to their face. Sounds really cool. And they said that romances are changing a bit as well. Rather than it just being kind of, or you just kind of hint it more and more and more and more, and then you just have sex and that's it, over. They want characters to feel like there's certain characters who just want to have sex, and you can do that, and I'm impressed that you can do it again and again, not just one cutscene of sex before the final ending. Which is nice to see more space sex. So, but others are interested in more long-term relationships, kind of. So they just want to know you and talk to you. And that's something they did in Dragon Age Inquisition. I remember you got a sense that you could just be with your romance and just talk with them, have like a nice chat with them and stuff as like a partner, which is cool. So that kind of thing. And they said they want to bring back the idea of, what you did when you were doing the shooting thing with Garrus, that kind of just friendships and really just fun times with your crewmates, not necessarily romances, but just having a fun time with them. So that'd be cool. So, going to a club or whatever they come up with, it'll be really cool and different, and just a real feeling of just being friends or being in love with a character and going through that, not just, oh, let's have sex and then never really mention it ever again, which is cool. Some of the characters they've revealed, not many. I mean, we've seen some pictures and videos. We know there's Krogan in it, we know Asari in it, Salarian, so there's probably going to be Salarian members. There's a Salarian pilot, apparently. Someone working on the game revealed, apparently, yeah, your pilot of the ship will be a Salarian, so that's cool. But yeah, there'll be the Salarian squadmate, probably, Asari, Krogan, human, whatever other races they bring through from the original trilogy, plus whatever new races they come up with, so that'll be cool. But the ones they kind of reveal, and the main one you've seen a lot of is the Asari, and she's called PB, and she's the one that's kind of like looks kind of different from your average kind of Asari. Asaris are already sort of held back, kind of sort of posh kind of people Asaris can be, whereas she seems really kind of down to earth kind of. She apparently went off on her own after arriving on the Nexus. She just kind of went off on her own, explored Andromeda, kind of doing her own thing. She has a bubbly personality, and she's kind of not concerned with social norms and niceties. So basically, yeah, she just seems like a really kind of down to earth kind of person who doesn't really care what people think. So it's just a really nice kind of friendly person to have about. Probably a romance option. The other one they've revealed is Liam. Apparently he sounds like a human, really. He arrived with the Pathfinder, so yeah, he was on the human arc. He's a former police officer and having a light attitude, so he seems like the kind of Caden type character, probably, or / James or Jacob, kind of that, just human, and he's just kind of there. But anyway, the human characters in Mass Effect have never been that interesting, really. It's always been about the aliens. But that's it for Squadmates and relationships. Bit of a shorter one than the others, but key part of the whole game and the whole trilogy for the originals, so really looking forward to what they're doing with it in the next game. Next week we'll be talking about multiplayer. Now it's not something that particularly interests me overly, but it's just something fun to try. So I'll be talking about that next week, about what changes they're making with that. So I'll see you then. Bye guys.